Hello again, everybody! This is Dr. Kendo, and I'm here with another Scribblenauts Unlimited Object Editor commentary, and this is a special episode. We do this from time to time where I have the face cam, so hello to everybody out there seeing my face right now. I don't feel that it's necessary for all of the commentaries or anything like that, but every now and then I think it's fun. Anyway, we're going to start off with a centaur as the source object for today's creation here in Scribblenauts Unlimited. Today we're going to be creating the Off Colors from Steven Universe, a highly requested series of characters, I guess, to create. I do just want to say this right away, right before we get into everything, is I'm actually not going to be creating LARS in this episode. We're going to make LARS in whatever is being created next week. So, of course, you guys can ask for anything and everything, but LARS will actually be included in regardless whatever it is next week. My life is insane, okay, everybody? So that's one of the reasons. The other reason, I mean, we have a ton of characters right here that are going to be created today. Like, we're starting off with Fluorite right here. And so the centaur as the source object I thought was really good. We're actually using this Don Quixote, the leg of Don Quixote, to basically be, it's the back leg of Don Quixote that we're using for all the legs of Fluorite right now. And so you can notice that we have these two kind of legs in the front out of the 6 total. And so those are for the centaur's front leg or whatever and back leg. But then where we put the back leg of the centaur, I guess when I said back leg earlier, I meant behind, not it's the front leg but behind, if that makes sense. I hope it does. But anyway, we then had the, I guess, latter 2 legs for the back legs of the centaur. Not only the one behind, but also in front, but in the back. I hope that makes sense. I really do. But anyway, we got an octahedron right now that we've got coming up for one of the gems there on, of course, Fluorite's body. She's got many gems all around, and so I'm going with a tube right now to start out her arms, so we are placing these where the centaur arms are. Of course, over that Tim Borelli arm. Tim Borelli is one of the 5th cell members in this game, and so Tim Borelli, his back arm kind of has that crazy wavy little pattern right there, and so that's what that, like, I guess, in essence, it's like a vest almost here on Fluorite. Of course, we also had circles many times of different colors. All of those going across the centaur body, all up and down. And so, anyway, we got a Jenny Green Teeth coming up. We're going to be using Jenny Green Teeth a lot. This back arm right here. I like this because the Jenny Green Teeth arm, it does have little fingers and whatnot. I know that it doesn't show, for instance, 4 or 5 fingers like a lot of characters that we create and use the Jenny Green Teeth arm for, but you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit and make sure that you're recognizing that this is Scribblenauts. This is not the actual universes that these games come from. Anyway, or characters in this case, cartoon characters in this particular case. Alright, so we're at the properties editor right now, and this is where you can edit health and all the sorts of scripting and behind the scenes kind of stuff for your character. So I like to read background information and fun facts about the things that we create in this series once we get here. We're almost done already. Let me go ahead, of course, with the Off Colors from Steven Universe. They're a group of unaligned, I should say, not unaligned, gems who have basically been deemed defective and off-color by the gem homeworld strict standards. They live hidden away before Steven and LARS happen to arrive at the site, and I suppose, spoiler if you have never seen the episodes, although they have been out for quite a few months at the time of this recording, so anyway, I'll just basically say, of course, that the off-colors do manage to escape homeworld en route to Earth with LARS. And speaking of LARS, again, I guess we'll mention it once more that, you know, I mentioned very early on in this episode, I feel a reminder is necessary that LARS will be created next week, along with whatever's voted most popular, most requested, per usual. Being that LARS is the leader of the group, I agree that he should be included in it all, but you guys, if you don't know the crazy life that I live, I mean, I work, I do like 20 different things for YouTube to stay afloat. I have a Twitch live streams every single week. I take care of my dad, who's not in good health. I'm married with a 5-month-old son, who I obviously take care of as well. I've got 2 dogs. I used to volunteer regularly in my city, and I am just constantly in an extraordinarily large amount of bodily pain. Please just allow me to create LARS separately, and I mean, since I've taken the time, basically, in this episode to create the characters, just to create them right, I guess, and there's many of them, considering that the heads and the bodies will, they'll all be created separately from each other. Like this, for instance, we started out with the head as the source object, little cuttlefish pieces right now for the mouth, as well as those squinty eyes. We had a kiwi, fruit. The whole main shape of the head was actually a golem. If you take the hand piece of the arm, so like the bottom arm, I guess you could say, of the golem, we're going with a sea turtle. Its back little flipper fin right there, and dots are going to be for all the little eyes within that, and there's actually a dot also for the white of the eyes of that one that's to our top right. It's, of course, Fluorite's top leftist arm, the most there. Tentaquill was actually kind of a unique stamp. We haven't used it before, but I've known it exists in this game for a long time. Basically, since I've had the game, pretty much. And so Tentaquill, the arm of the Tentaquill in the back, we use that as some of the hair there at the very top, front and center. Harpy wings were also included, and wool. You could also do cotton for that, but you want to make sure under the equipment tab, check off this circle down kind of close to the bottom that says can be worn on the face like glasses, but it's one up from the bottom. And that basically, when you do that scripting tool or pattern, I guess, for the head object right here, if you're creating the head and the body separately, you need to do that on your head's object right there. So you notice that basically if we just put the head into the hands of the body object like we did for Fluorite right there, it'll mostly connect the two pieces where they need to go. Now, we are going to edit the body of Fluorite right now and use the green grids. That's a button that you can press there in your panel of buttons and things that you can press. And we just move the grid basically up a little bit and maybe back some. I mean, just basically you just need to move it wherever you feel that the head needs to go. So like if you're like, man, my head of the character looks super low or super high, you know, for instance, you would move it up or down accordingly. So we got a mecha coming up next as the source object. Hope you guys are ready for this. We're going on to another character right now. Let's start off with the sunbather here, and we'll take the body or the torso piece of the female sunbather. Specifically, we just kind of want this pattern. It's mostly about the bikini, I guess, that the sunbather is wearing, or the two-piece swimsuit, basically, that the sunbather has there. We are actually coloring it all mostly solid, though. Grenadier or Grenadier, you could pronounce it either way, but that fish, basically, we took its side fin, actually, for some of that chest design, because we're making Rhodonite right now. So if you know, she sort of has two different tones with her clothing and whatnot, so we're going to capture both of those different hues and their look right here. And so, of course, her skin is going to be a little bit more of that darkish purple pink, but there where we have the sunbather skin, it's a little bit lighter because she kind of has this veil. It's like that transparent veil going over the top of her chest, almost around her neck a little bit too. And so let's go with the siren right now after those golem thigh pieces. The siren's back leg we can actually use for this spot right here. So that's the back leg of Rhodonite right there. And then we'll actually, let's do a little bit more before we get the other leg in here. We're going to take that Grenadier's fin once again and use that to basically be for some more of the design there on, well, it'd be around her hip, basically. So for the other leg, we'll use a mom, or you can type in mother. Either way works. And so we'll go with that golem thigh piece again. That's the back thigh, you know, like the upper leg part of the golem. And so for that, we can basically put that there as like the bicep or shoulder piece or whatever for Rhodonite right here. On both sides, actually, because this will be Rhodonite's top layer of arms. Now, she does have two different, I guess, sections of arms right here. So for the mecha, you notice that its shoulder piece can actually move independently of the forearm and the wrist and everything like that. So it's basically that there's two different arm pieces for the mecha. So with that, we're actually going to do the two layers of arms on Rhodonite attached to each of those mecha pieces. So for instance, that top arm is going to be on the top shoulder piece of the mecha, and rhombus going down right now, as you can see the text, and we had a sea moth earlier for that veil type thing over her, or handkerchief or whatever. But then the bottom layer, basically what I was saying about the arms, is that second, those little skinnier arms, I guess, those will go down on that second bottom part of the mecha, you know, for its arms, again, because the arm moves in two different pieces. So I thought it'd be cool to kind of connect those separately so that the arms could move independently of each other. So, okay, we got that down. we're basically about halfway through the episode, I would say, at this point. We gotta now do the head, of course, of Rhodonite right here. So with that, let's go with the golem thigh piece once again. We're going to take that, paint it the skin color for Rhodonite right there, and then we're going to go with a cloud. So the cloud is just a really interesting piece for the hair. Rhodonite has crazy hair, and of course the two colors kind of come into play once again for Rhodonite like this, so I do like how this is eventually going to turn out. Obviously, you can tell that this episode in particular has been created before. You know, I did all of the game capture and editing of that beforehand, and I'm just commentating it kind of in post. I do this a lot when I live stream, excuse me. I do this a lot if we're doing a live stream, so you've seen this style of commentary before. Again, we do this only every now and then. So let's go with a dot right now after putting those kiwi, the kiwi fruit that is, of course not the kiwi bird, but we'll do that, the kiwi fruit in there. And then after that, we had a cone as well for the nose. But then we've got a crane, the middle neck piece of the crane. Of course, that's the crane bird, if that wasn't obvious. But that will be for the white or the little shine in the eyes right there, over the pupils, which were dots, of course, as I said. And so then we went with jellyfish, the upper tentacle pieces of those jellyfish. Those can be for the eyebrows. Now we're making Rhodonite kind of look concerned and like, oh my gosh, like, you know, the eyebrows are up. And then we went with a goldfish, the bottom fin of the goldfish down there. That's actually going to be used for the other layer of eyes down here. So then we had another 2 dots, I guess, again, for the pupils in those as well. Cuttlefish, there was kind of that middle arm piece, well, closer to the cuttlefish's head. You're going to like this, I think. We're basically using that for the teeth within the mouth, but then this parasite head, you could also do, I think, tick works, but parasite, you can take the head of that parasite and turn that kind of little, I guess, mouth of that parasite to be the black of the mouth. So it looks like the teeth are in there with the little lines, basically using that parasite. I love that. So anyway, we will now move on to conjoined twins as the source object. You could almost imagine, you know, if we're going to have conjoined twins, 2 heads, twins, it probably is obvious. We're going with the Rutile Twins right here. So let's go with a rectangle right now. After we took off every piece of the, you know, all the limbs, we took off the head, all of that good stuff for the conjoined twins. Now, they're going to work kind of in a specific way on Scribblenauts Unlimited. I've done, actually, this as a source object before for a Steven Universe character as well. So hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. If you've been around here for a long time, you probably saw it. But anyway, we'll go with a mummy right now. I like that the mummy, with this in Scribblenauts Unlimited, the mummy, basically, we can color it accordingly to the Rutile Twins, but I like that there's just many different pieces that you can color with the mummy. So it's kind of good. We can have this kind of like dark burnt orange color with the blackish color, and just section them off how it should be colored for the Rutile Twins. So that's awesome. So a chalk, the writing piece of chalk was down there in the midsection, almost around the belly button right there. And then we had a half rest sticking out from that. So, you know, the chalk was going one way, excuse me there, and then the half rest was going out of it from that in the middle. And so then we had Amazon, the female Amazon's back leg right there, not only for the first leg, but also the back leg. So we used it for both of them. And the pool girl, of course, the pool girl's back arm, I think we've used that a lot in this series, but I like it because it's sort of just a good general stamp for that general shape that you see coming together for the arms right now of the twins here. And so let's after that, we'll go with a blobfish. So the thing about this is I like the body of the blobfish, not for the tip of it where it's kind of curled, but I like it for the base, the bottom of it, because we're going to use it as a neck right now for both twins. So the interesting thing here that's going to happen is we're actually, of course, after we do this fingernail, the fingernail is going to be the feet peeking out right there of, you know, they have their clothing on right there, but the feet are peeking out at the bottom. And we also went with a jellyfish, the upper tentacle piece of the jellyfish. You know, it's just kind of like a black line right there. That can be for the little toes, just a line to mark those. And so then we got excuse me again. I've been going through a little bit of voice stuff. Luckily, I'm not sick again. Like, I feel like I get sick a lot around, I guess, winter time. Fortunately, now that it's spring, I'm okay, but my voice just was, I've had a little bit of a cough, just a tiny bit, but not really sick. Anyway, you can see that we are creating the head. This is what I wanted to talk about, is we're actually creating one of the heads attached to the body, but then we're going to have to create the other head separately, and I'll show you how we attach those in a little bit. So anyway, we got the cuttlefish, that same arm tentacle-ish piece right there, those tendrils in the front of it. And I used a whalefish top fin for the hair right there, as well as we did an antelope, the, I guess, like front leg, but behind. So front legs, that set, behind it, and with that, it's kind of just the upper leg part. Like if the antelope had a shoulder part, you know, that's basically what we took. So we start off with the head as the source object. We are now going to make the head separately, of course, for the other twin. We're going to go with this Dimetrodon. You want the back leg, but the one that's behind, so in back. And it's very, very difficult to, I guess, get that one specific piece if you're on the Wii U with the stylus and stuff like that on the tablet. I think PC users could probably grab that pretty easily, but a little bit of trouble on the Wii U, so you got to be specific where you want to grab it at. Hairy fish fin right there, and we're doing the same kind of thing with that whale fish, that top fin. That, for the whalefish, was the hair right here for this twin as well, but the Dimetrodon piece was kind of the main part of the head this time. And so let's go with a jellyfish right there, upper tentacle piece once again, makes that black line. We use that a lot in this series as well, if you're new to this. It's very handy. It's basically just kind of right next to the jellyfish's body and to our left, you can grab that tentacle piece, that it's the upper tentacle piece again. Half rest. So if you type in half rest, we did that earlier on in the episode. That's not only for the little eyebrow right there on that side of this twin's head right now, but it's also going to be for the other eyebrow if we do it twice. So we want it to be a little bit longer that time. Now we're also using it next to the jellyfish, that tentacle piece for the mouth. We have it just a slight bend up on both sides of that jellyfish mouth, or jellyfish tentacle piece to make the mouth. So you notice, hopefully, that we put it on either side. Now look what happens. When you put the head into the hands, you notice that it went on the opposite side that we want it on. So we need to remove that. What you can do to get this right is put glasses or a hat or any kind of thing that's going to take that space up, then put on the head after that. So notice that that put it where we want it to go, although it's not positioned correctly on the head. So we do, of course, just to show you this again, we're going to edit the torso or body object or whatever, not torso, I guess, but edit the body object of the Rutile Twins here, and then just move that grid. It's to our left, of course, but it's the twin on the right side. Move that grid. Basically, it needed to go a lot more up. We also needed to shrink the twin's head down a little bit. So look, now that they're together, isn't that amazing? Look at that. We did it. Okay. Anyway, we're going on to the last two creations of this episode. Again, we're doing LARS separately. I'm sure I don't need to say that again, right? Padparadscha. So here she is going to be made from a girl as the source object. So we got the girl right there, and we'll put a tutu down after taking off the legs. Of course, we also took off the arms and the head for this girl, source object, and Scribblenauts. And notice that we had amber down, but then oval over that. So both of those are going to be combined to basically make her dress. Now, the circles that we're putting down are attached to the arms of the girl, the arm grid, we should say, the green grids for where the arms are supposed to go. But then you move those circles up beyond the grid. The girl, you know, she has kind of tiny arms in Scribblenauts Unlimited, as well as tiny legs, kind of just tiny everything. And so with that, you want to move those circles beyond the grid, but then have the capsule. Of course, that's the shape capsule, not device, but the capsule to start the arms, and then Jenny Greenteeth, her back arm, to be the actual arms with the gloves on them, you know, to finish that off. Glue was for the body, basically the main part of the body up at the chest, that kind of upper section. It's almost like there's two different or three different sections, you know, tutu, then the amber with the ovals for the dress, and then the top of the dress, you know, with that glue. And we also put a capsule shape again for the neck right there. You may need to increase its size to move it around in the right place, but then decrease it after that. We also used an oval for her little gem there on, it would be her left arm, but it's the back arm basically to our right. And so anyway, we had a mola, the body piece of a mola to go behind the dress. There is sort of some where it ties back there in the back a bow. So with that, we use hemispheres combined with that mola body shape right there. So that's good. Padparadscha's body right there is, I think it's looking mostly complete. So we'll do basic scripting for all of these gems. I don't think they've shown a lot of their powers off. They've shown their kind of quirks and whatnot, but unfortunately we can't really show those off too well in Scribblenauts Unlimited. But there's the head. We just did pad head to kind of be shorthand for it. Sunbather, you saw the female sunbather. That's the main head, but we did it twice. So notice that there's a sunbather looking that way, but then there's also one looking that way behind it. So we layered them behind, and that's how we got the hair for Pad. I guess we'll call her Pad as short, you know, just as a nickname. Jack Frost right there. The back arm of Jack Frost is also for the top of the hair in back right there for Pad. And then we also have this shark pup fin. Notice that when I take them away, you can actually see the eyes, and that looks kind of funny. It looks like its own character, you know, if we show off the eyes of that sunbather that were in there. Female beauty, of course, we'll take the back arm of the beauty right here, paint it white. We're going to do sort of like what we did with Rhodonite's head, where we kind of play with some stamps in a new way, I guess. And here you can see that we'll type in nursery fish. Once we get that nursery fish's side fin right there, you can paint it sort of a dark reddish maroon type color and put it here in the corner. And again, it gives that illusion kind of like the mouth has like an opening right there and some lines for the teeth. So just nice detail, I feel, is really good. And then jellyfish, we'll go with that one last time. Upper tentacle piece, again, kind of near the body right there to the left a little bit and down. And so notice we just shrink those as small as possible. And that'll be for where her lips, the lines of her lips, of course the top lip and the bottom lip, on there. One last reminder, of course, if you're creating the head and the body separately, just make sure that you have that checked off or fill in that circle that says can be worn on the face like glasses. And now, here are the off colors. Isn't that amazing? Look at them all. And so again, we'll have Lars in the next episode, so whatever you guys request, please leave that in the comments. It doesn't have to be Steven Universe related. It could be anything in the gaming, movie, TV, whatever kind of nerd and geek stuff you want to do, memes, stuff like that, you know. So that's what you can request, and so have at it. We upload every single Sunday, and you guys are awesome. I will catch you guys on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.
Dreams circulate among the real, guiding, telling me how I feel. Holding on to the ones I got still. Paradise is just over the hill. Dreams circulate among